Today I'm going to string up this guitar we've been working on, and I'm going to go over a few things about the action, how to set that up. And it might be interesting. I know there's always a lot of controversy about that, but it's a pretty simple thing, and just I can go over some basics and at least how I do it. Two fret files. One is thicker and one is thinner. You don't need one for each different size slot. You can change it around, just need a couple of these. Okay, so what I did was I already did the correct spacing for the nut here, and I just kind of marked out where it is. And I'm going to put this on here. Fits right in. A nut should always, you should never glue a nut in. It should just always slide in and out. So, okay, so the most basic thing about filing a nut that will drive people nuts if you don't do it right is from the leading edge of the nut here, the front where the string comes off, to the roller. You can just take this straight edge and rest it on top of the roller there and put it in the slot. Now this angle from where the string leaves the top of the roller to where it goes over the nut and then leaves the front edge of the bridge should be a straight line. You don't want to file it like this and then have the string have this angle, because when it gets over the nut here, it'll kind of cause some weird buzzing, and because the string isn't seated properly in the nut, and it can drive you nuts. No pun intended. Another thing I do, I've got this feeler gauge, and I've taped two of them together because it happens to be the exact height that I've worked out that should go over the first fret. So I'm just going to file this until my file hits the metal here, and that tells me that I'm at the right point. And just kind of doing this, widening it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just moving it back and forth. Trying to maintain the right angle. Okay, just hit metal, so that's done. Okay, so now I'm going to do the D string. I'll start it off with a little file. This is the A string, so it's a little thicker. And here I am once again pointing right to that, the top of the roller. The E string. Started off with a little narrower one to get the groove going there. And again, I'm resting right on top of that, you see. I'm aiming for that. There we have it. That's it. And then what I do is, you can see, and what I do is I just kind of round off this leading edge, because if you don't take some 600 grit paper and smooth all these sharp edges here, you'll cut your strings in no time. So I'm going to do that. The way I do that is I just take, okay, so what I do is I take this fret file and just wrap some some 320 grit sandpaper around it. Then I just clean these slots out, kind of round them, and then kind of, see, I don't know if you can see it, kind of go at a little slight angle over the leading edge, just to kind of round it. Because when you tune your string, if it's not kind of round and it's sharp, it's going to just cut your string. Okay, then I just kind of sand this nicely. And what I do is, I don't know if you can see, this is the leading edge of the nut. And what I like to do is I kind of like to round, just take that edge off so that when the string leaves the nut, it's not leaving it from the groove, it's just leaving it from the bottom, almost just like a saddle. So just enough to have it not interfere with the vibration of the string, just kind of a clean edge coming off there. So I just kind of sand it like that, sand it back a little bit. So now what I do is I want to locate this the strings in the center of the fingerboard and then just cut off the edges of the nut. And I just do that by eyeballing it. Sometimes it's good to leave a little more room on the treble side. A lot of times you'll see makers, me included, when they center this, they'll just tilt this a little bit inward from the leading edge of the treble side, so the bass is riding a little further toward the edge on the bass side, and the treble is a little further away, just giving you like another millimeter of safety so the string doesn't pull off the edge. And so as a result, sometimes you'll see guitars where it'll look like it's a little crooked, where it's not centered, where the treble string and the bass strings aren't centered. But that's, I do it on purpose sometimes. But this particular guitar, the string spacing is 42.5 millimeters, as opposed to what I'll go up to 44 millimeters. So it's a smaller string spacing. And so I don't need to do that on this. But if it were, a little bit larger and I needed to conserve some space on the edge, I would do that. I would just tilt it a little bit more to the bass. But we're not going to do that now. So I'm just eyeballing it and marking it right there. So I'm going to cut the edges off here, sand them off, and then round them, and I won't bore you with that part of it. I'll go down to 600 on this, and then I'll buff it out with a little steel wool, and it makes it look real nice. Buff it out later. All right, the nut is made.